Welcome to the Underdog Talk, guys. I am Jay Barnes, and we have the pleasure of speaking with Alex Carneiro, a renowned fitness expert and coach with over a decade of experience in the industry. Alex has helped countless individuals achieve their fitness goals through personalized training and nutrition plans. He is also a published author and has been featured in numerous media outlets. Today, we're excited to dive in to his expertise and learn about his approach to fitness and wellness. So, welcome, Alex. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. Doing amazing. Just happy to be alive in this wonderful life. So I'm happy to be with you guys here again.
Amen to that, brother. So, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in the fitness industry?
So I was born in Brazil. I was raised all my life in Italy. Went to Catholic boarding military school. That was fun. And then I wanted to pursue a degree as of a young age in something related to sports. So I found the degree of sports and exercise science, which was a phenomenal degree, but it inspired me to further understand more about the human body because the human body isn't just a physical thing. It needs nutrition in order to operate and become, the fuel source of what we do on a daily basis. So I use the sports medicine degree to add context to my military background training so that I could work with cadets in the Air Force. And from there, I decided to work with celebrities, government officials, and now I own my own personal training studio. But honestly, what got me started, and I'm not going to lie, it's been anime, man. I'm a huge anime fan. Dragon Ball, Black Clover, Hero Academia. I mean, I've always loved anime and those big bodies. And then, in order to learn English, my parents wanted me to read, but I did not like to read. I'm not gonna lie. So what my dad did was buy me a Muscle Fitness, and from there I started, learning the words in English and seeing some of the role models that in the future I got to meet and to speak with, which was amazing. But my desire for fitness has always been something I've had since a young age. The discipline's been there. Nowadays, I just want others to understand that the power and benefits of moving more. It doesn't matter if it's weightlifting, it doesn't matter if it's CrossFit, it doesn't matter if you're doing yoga. The benefits of exercise are there as long as you are consistent with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And it's crazy because a lot of people actually do get into fitness because of anime, because of the way the physiques look. It's crazy that's how you got into it.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome. Um, so, what are some common misconceptions that people have about fitness and nutrition, in your opinion?
there are a lot. There's a lot of bro science. There's a lot of myths. There's a lot of things that people just don't get accurately, and unfortunately, social media doesn't help it because everyone has an opinion and a different perspective of how they should approach fitness and nutrition in their lives. Um, I think one of the biggest misconception, and I'm sure you've heard this a million times, if women lift heavy, they're going to get bulky. That there are certain exercises that will put you in more of a dangerous position, such as deadlifts and squats. That you need extremely high amounts of protein in order to build muscle. Those are the very common ones. I still hear after, almost 2 decades of doing this. And misconception will always be there no matter what. And that's why hiring a coach and sticking to that one coach is essential because, again, with the social media era, one guy will tell you something, the other one will tell you something, then the other person will tell you something. At the end of the day, and there's, this funny video out there, at the end of the day, what do you eat? What do you drink? I mean, if everything is bad for you, and all the exercises are wrong or right, you get paralysis by analysis. So the most important key, despite all these misconceptions, is my analogy, which is calories dictate weight loss, muscle gain, macronutrients dictate how you look, meaning, are you building muscle, are you losing body fat, and micronutrients will determine how you feel. So As long as you get those three, the calories, the macros, and the micronutrients understandable, everything else is pretty standard.
Okay, awesome. And how do you approach creating personalized workout and nutrition plans for your clients specifically? Is it just specifically those things right there?
No, this is something that I knew as of a young age it was missing in the market. A lot of these online programs, and I have nothing against them, but a lot of these online programs are cookie cutter. They don't understand the lifestyle of an individual might not be what the program is going to be delivering for them. So, as of a young age, I partner up with a psychologist from a university of Southern California, and I sat down with him. He's an old friend, and I said, dude, not everyone who's given a workout or a nutrition routine is following. So we started to dig a little bit more. Why is it that even though the information, the knowledge has always been there, why aren't people applying it? And it's because everyone's lifestyle is different. I deal, like I said, I've dealt with celebrities, professional athletes, government officials. Everyone's lifestyle is different, from how many kids you have, how many hours you stand, how many hours you sit in a car, stress levels, sleeping patterns. These are all factors that you have to take into accountable when you create a program. So I created a trademark, actually my questionnaire, in order to make sure that the individual I'm working with understands it's not just eating and exercising that's going to give them results. It's understanding that I'm going to do everything I can in my power to create a program that fits your lifestyle, but at the same time, you need to add simply the minimum amount of consistency to that program in order to have any results. Um, and again, it doesn't matter which way my clients want to go, get bigger, lose weight, get athletic, power, strength. You got to understand that individual from a psychological level, and then you can tap into the physical level of creating a program for them. Same thing with supplements. You know, you don't just prescribe all the supplements because this guy wants to build muscle and we're going to give him creatine and we're going to give him whey and we're going to give him the BCA standards. We need to understand how the human body works from a psychological level, and then we can tap into the physical and see how we can implement exercise in their daily routine and what foods can they eat. We work with a lot of nurses at my gym. They don't have time to sit down and eat. So how can we create convenient strategies for them to still stay in shape, still get nutrition with their lifestyle?
I absolutely love that because, that's something that I talk to my clients about is like, the everybody is different, like, and their schedules are always all over the place. And it's very rare that you actually find a coach that will cater specifically to your body, your lifestyle, and everything that you do on a daily basis. So kudos to you for actually implementing that into your training. And how do you balance your fitness goals and with your work as a trainer and as a coach?
That's going to be a question that will change based on a daily basis, right? So I look at my calendar every week. I look at how many hours are going to be with clients because I can't just be working in the business. I have to work on the business. I have the entire administrative side. We have 9 employees, 9 trainers that work for the Driven team. And so I look at the week, I look at my days, and then I plan it accordingly to, okay, I have an hour and a half. This is where I'm going to fit my workout. Okay, I can eat here, here, and here. But it's something that it changes on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. I don't work a 9 to 5. Owning a business is 24/7. And in addition to owning my business, I have, my entrepreneur side with real estate stuff. I have my travels with metabolic nutrition to teach about sports nutrition schools in Latin America. I got to be a husband. There's other stuff going on in my life, which makes me understand more how busy people live their lives. So my business caters to a lot of Fortune 500 millionaires. We even have a few billionaires. Um, these guys are nonstop traveling. So I learned from a long time ago from one of my mentors, who was actually one of my clients. Um, if you create a plan that's long term and don't change the small steps to get there, your plan might fail earlier than you believe, because everyone has this mentality that achieving goals is like taking one step at a time. If you don't pre-plan how you're going to take that step, you might not get to the end of the staircase. So Balance is a question, is a word that we throw a lot in fitness and business as well. But balance has to be a never-ending, evolving strategy for your weekly, daily, monthly schedule in order to make sure that, no matter what the day throws at you, you still have that pre-planned. And that's the problem. We all have the same 24 hours, but we don't pre-plan how we're going to spend those 24 hours. Sure, we might be 16 hours awake, maybe 12 hours awake. So how are you going to use every single minute of that day efficiently towards your goals? That's what, at the end of the day, I tell my clients distinguishes someone who's going to achieve their goals and someone who's simply going to be, screwing around with their time.
I like that. Because everything does always change, and we all find trouble with balance, and we're always going to find an excuse of why we can't do something. And you're basically living proof of that, things that can get done with a busy schedule. Like you said, you have a family, you have your job, you have your business, and all of these things tied in. So can you talk about the importance of recovery and rest days in a fitness routine?
Absolutely. Recovery and rest days are even more essential as we get older, right? I mean, I remember being young and, hanging out with, Mr. Olympias and all these IFBB pros in their 30s and 40s and 50s. And me being in my 20s, I would look at them and it'd be like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm achy. I can sleep. And I was all in my 20s. I'd always be like, what a bunch of, pansies. And then as I got older, my body started, not functioning as it used to in my 20s. And so, again, going back to the same question, you have to pre-plan days that are going to allow you to have a rest day. So when I look at my schedule and I have multiple hours of work, I know for a fact I'm going to take that rest day right there. I'm going to pre-plan that rest day because I know myself. And that's something that a lot of people need to understand. You need to know yourself. Telling yourself that you're going to change up, from point A to point B overnight, it's just not going to happen. So days that I have long days, I take that rest day. The most important part, especially rest days, something that people don't understand is the central nervous system also takes a pretty big toll in lifting, especially when it comes to, heavy lifting, like, deadlifts, squats, benches. So it's not just having a rest day for your, physique. It's also for the nerves, the central nervous system to recover. And if you don't have sleep, first of all, nothing is going to change in your body because IGF-1, HGH, all those important, hormones that are actually also helping us naturally recover take place a big chunk at night. So if you're not getting enough sleep, that's one of the, scratch the equation of success. And that's in business too. And then recovery. Nowadays, we have so many recovery tools that people use: cold baths, the Theraguns, hot baths, cold baths, so on and so forth. I think that too has to be individualized for the person, right? I mean, a football player who gets a bunch of tackles, or even my coach, who is a professional fighter, former UFC fighter, and whatnot. These guys who take impact to their body need a separate style of recovery than a bodybuilder does, or than a cyclist does. And so understanding the type of recovery your body needs for the efficient goal that you're going for is also very essential. Regardless, sleep is a must for anyone. Any human being needs it. And then the type of recovery needs to be individualized for every single individual as well. Nowadays, again, it's so overly commercialized that you need cold plunges and need this and need that. Look, are they great? Yeah. But does everyone need it? It depends on the individual.
Okay. And how do you stay up to date with the latest research and trends in the fitness industry? Because they're always changing. And like I tell people, bodybuilding is forever evolving.
I stick to the basics and the foundation, and then if there's anything I have to research, I will. So what do I mean with that? The way I look at it, let's go back to the 60s and 70s when bodybuilding was, let's say, picking up more. Uh, no one told them that a lateral raise would, target the medial delt. No one really told them that if you did an incline press, your body would work a little bit towards the upper chest. These are things that we had to find out. Back in those days, there was no macro tracking. There was simple math. The gyms are very simple, and yet we had these extraordinary physiques, right? So I tell people, look, stick to the foundation of data and science that it works. Progressive overload, that's got to be a must in any type of training. Recovery, it's got to be a must. And then if your lifestyle might fit into a trend, let's say and people are going to hit me for saying this, but intermittent fasting, right? We hear it all the time. I got tons of clients say, "Oh, I saw this guy on Instagram or YouTube, and now I think about IF." IF is great for people who honestly, you know, don't have time to eat in the morning. They don't want to eat in the morning, and they have time in the afternoon. Uh, Keto was another one that used to be the South Beach diet. Um, Things get remarketed, rechanged, but at the end of the day, the concept is the same. You want to lose weight, you got to be in a calorie deficit. You want to gain weight, you got to be in a calorie surplus. And trends change. That's the whole concept of a trend. Nowadays it could be, I don't know, let's make something up, benching with your feet up in the air because it involves more core engagement. Next month it'll be something else. And it just keeps confusing people. So that's when I take my clients back and I'm like, let's just take it to the basics, to the foundation, because it will always work no matter what you put on top of it. The base will be there. And what's my base? Be consistent with your training, be consistent with your eating, be consistent with your sleeping, and then let's take it another step above. Let's calculate how many calories, what macros and micros you need for your success. After that, okay, if intermittent fasting is the best way to approach it, let's give it a try and see if that works. If a ketogenic diet, which I don't put any of my clients on ketogenic diets, but if ketogenic diets have to go in that approach, we'll put you on keto unless you maybe medically you need it. So trends will come and go. I don't really pay attention to them. The only thing that I'm interested is learning how can I help the mass popular generation, because despite everything, we're still everyone has the same biology, still we have the same physiology. So when there's new research that comes out, let's say about, let's increase protein synthesis with increasing leucine at a certain time, that'll activate mTOR in the muscle. I'll take a look at it, see what the study, entails, see if it was a reasonable amount of people that did that study, and hopefully it wasn't sponsored by someone trying to push an agenda. And then after that, I'll try it on myself. And after that, I'll try it with a few clients. If it works, great. I got a new formula to approach into someone's lifestyle. So at the end of the day, you got to look at it as a tree. The tree is always going to have the foundation. The branches are always going to be coming in different ways. The leaves are every single client that I have. Everyone's going to have their own branch, right? No one's going to be on the same branch. And so no matter what trend comes and goes, the trunk is going to be the foundation. We know for a fact calorie surplus means let's increase weight. X amount of protein will help you with a higher muscle synthesis over muscle degradation. The foundation will always be there. Whatever comes and goes will be approached at an individual basis after I do research and after I apply it on myself.
Okay. And as a personal trainer, how do you feel about the openness in the fitness industry when it comes to anabolics? Like, do you feel like that's kind of counterproductive to the fitness industry, or do you think that it's kind of like bringing more light to it and it's a good thing?
Bringing more light definitely is a good thing. I think this taboo subject of PEDs has been, the curtain has been lifted. More and more people are talking about what drugs and performance enhancing drugs were taken. I by no means will ever preach that I'm a lifetime natural, because I'm not. At a Mr. Olympia level, no one's natural. Now the new trend seems to be that everyone's on TRT, and that's considered natural, even though if you elevate your hormones to a super physiological level, that's not natural. I think it's good that people know that they took certain things. On the bad side, people might try and imitate those dosages and try different types of drugs to achieve potentially the results that a certain athlete had. And that could be the bad thing, because when I speak to elder bodybuilders, I've had the great pleasure of meeting Tom Platz, of been with Ronnie Coleman, with Jay Cutler. These are people that we used to travel when our sponsors aligned the same. And, they used to tell me that they would take a minimum amount of these substances. And nowadays you'll have a 22-year-old injecting 3 grams because, some guy that's been working out for 40, 50 years has been doing this dose. And so that is a problem, is promoting that this is the only way to get there. But that's just not in bodybuilding. It's in every industry, right? Everyone wants to learn the quick hacks to make 7 figures or this or that. Education is good. It just depends on the hand of the individual, how they're going to apply that information to their lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you share some success stories that you have from clients that you've worked with personally?
What kinds? More celebrities, more of my individual clients.
Hey, you pick them, brother.
Um, so I'll mention Ross Forte. Ross is the Viking when the show Extreme Tag was on Fox. So they had 2 seasons. Ross is a big guy. He's 6'3". He was already athletic, but he needed a body that was also functional, right? Because in Extreme Tag, these guys are doing, park tour and all this stuff. And so we had 6 weeks to get him ready for his pilot episode. And this guy, oh my God, one of the nicest people I've ever met. He committed to the plan to the teeth and had this super cool transformation in just 6 weeks, which, is a very rare example. But then you have the client that inspired me to write my book. Let's call her Melanie for now. Melanie was 320 pounds, 5'4", and, diabetic, low self-esteem. She had nothing good going on around her life. And so she would always tell me how if she was, prettier and had breast implants and had surgery, people wouldn't look funny at her when she ate food because she always felt like people were judging. She would have a boyfriend. She would probably get promoted at work because her self-esteem would be better. Anyway, the list kept going on. Melanie disappeared. So I trained her for 3 years. We lost about 80, 90 pounds in 3 years, which doesn't seem like a lot. But again, everyone has to go at their own pace. And then she disappeared. And then 8 months later, she hits me up and she's like, hey, I'm back. I'm ready to train. And I'm like, dude, are you alive? I thought you were literally dead. And she's like, no, I went through some personal stuff. So here I am 3 years later. I meet Melanie and this little petite, blonde woman now. She was brunette with, this tiny little itsy bitsy waist, big boobs. And, like if you put the before and after, it doesn't look the same person. People will be like, that's Photoshop. Well, Melanie had gone to an extreme weight loss camp for 3 months where basically, they control everything you eat. It's just exactly like, The Biggest Loser, but, non-TV version. So we started training again, and I'm like, oh my God, I mean, why do you need a training? You look fabulous. She's like, well, because you're the only one who, actually told me that changing my physique, my outer experience, outer shell was not going to do anything for my internal being. All my other personal trainers would always say, oh yeah, once you, lose all that weight, guys are going to be throwing themselves at you and whatnot. And so I'm like, I'm flattered. I said, so how's life going? She's like, I still feel guilty when I eat. I still don't have a boyfriend. I still feel like my friends make fun of me, and I still haven't gotten my promotion. So I said, okay, so you went through this extensive physical change in order to be someone that you thought you were going to be. And then here you are still, completely different person. You still have the same mental issues. And so that's what inspired me to write a book about, the importance that, yes, the body is the most important thing, but the mind's also important. So there's a lot of body dysmorphia. And that has to be the most successful client because after another year, personal training became therapy sessions with her, basically. I was able to, get her to take small steps on a monthly basis to be, the person she wanted to be. And honestly, it had nothing to do with the outer shell. It was all about her own mentality. Um, but those are my two favorite stories. I have, veterans who have lost limbs and, they want to get back to the daily routine. It's extraordinary, to think, oh, I have two hands. And, some of these people don't have an entire arm, an entire limb. You don't understand how much life changes when you don't have these things. Um, by far the coolest client was one of my former I trained some of the WWE divas, and one of my coolest clients was invited to be one of the bad guys on the Arrowverse. So for the Flash, so I had about 11 weeks to get him ready, and we got him ready, and it was really cool seeing him on TV, being the Flash, which also I'm a comic book nerd, so that's kind of cool seeing my client there on TV flexing in front of a TV show against the Flash.
Yeah, that's awesome right there. That's gonna be a cool feeling to see that.
I was like, oh, I know that guy.
So what advice would you give to someone that's starting out in their fitness journey?
Patience. The information is there, right? people, there's a lot of these online influencers saying that ChatGPT is going to ruin fitness because you can just type in and it'll spit everything out. That's not the thing. It's not that people don't know what to do. It's that people have too much information and they don't know which one to be consistent with, because they try something for 3 weeks, it doesn't work. They try another thing for another 3 weeks, it doesn't work. And who knows if the fourth week, the physiological effects of whatever you were doing actually took place. So people are constantly changing their mind because they're constantly being, told that there's a better, more efficient, and the word that I hate is quick, right? There's no such thing as any type of quick change in the body. Um, the reason why I think, even if you're not interested in building a body, but the beauty of building a body is that you can't buy it. Some people might disagree, but you can't buy yourself, a person to flex for you and then do exercise for you. You can't buy someone to feed force you. Sure, you can get a chef, you can have a personal trainer, those are different things. You have to earn your body. That's something that uh, reflects your habits. I don't care if you're natural or not natural. That's another misconception. Oh, you're on the juice. That's why you look like that. No, my man. Some people have been working out for decades before they even look like that. So it has nothing to do with their natural or not. Whoever has consistency in lifting earns my respect right away. Right away. Um, but I just think it's important that people need to understand that the body's not going to change overnight. 10 years of bad habits cannot be erased in 3 months. And if you're passionate about lifting and going, even if some days it's rough, you will have an incredible journey. And a lot of the concepts you can learn in the gym can be applied to life. That's another thing that I love about fitness. And thirdly, math is the universal language. Well, for me, fitness is the universal language. You can go to Japan right now, get into a gym, and you can somehow meet someone who's doing the same thing as you and working hard. And, you can still have a language in the gym just because everyone, it's the same weight, it's the same exercise. So to me, fitness has always been the universal language that can bring a lot of people together, even if they can't speak the same language. And I've had that happen to me.
Yeah, I agree with that too, and it's so cool the camaraderie that you can find in this industry, and just building relationships through fitness and bodybuilding and just working out in general. Because you just walk up to a guy who looks like he's been working out. What's up, big guy? And then you start talking about working out after that. And it's just
Yeah, I remember this one time, this bear of a man, he's actually a friend now, but because of this instance, I mean, we're talking about like a Brian Shaw looking guy. And he's like, "Hey, do you want to spot me in the bench?" And he had 5 plates on each side. And I'm like, "Sure, let's go for it, right?" I'm like, "No one else is more qualified than me for this." And so he did his PR, and he just opens his mouth, and I found out that he played college football, and then he tore an LCL and couldn't play professional. But now every time if I'm not working out at my gym, I go there and I see him. It's almost like we've been lifelong friends, and it all began because he needed a spot, which I already told him years later. Dude, you would have been so screwed if you couldn't get that, because there's no way I would have done anything to help you there.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, close it up here. The floor is yours, sir. Where can we find that book? Where can we find your social medias? Is there anything that you want to plug in? The floor is yours, sir.
Um, my message to everyone is, despite everything that's happening every single day in the world, exercise, move, it'll change your outcome, at least your view towards a lot of things at a more personal level. As far as, people finding me, my website, alexcarneiro.com, Instagram, Alex Carneiro. Just want to give a quick shout out to the people at Metabolic. We're excited to go into South America and start teaching the use of sports supplements to the athletes. So that's a big thing I've always loved, is education. So Metabolic Nutrition and I are going to be traveling around LATAM and teaching sports nutrition for those who desire it. And I love teaching. So besides that, like I said, be happy. Life's too short. So it's not worth holding a grudge against anything.
Hey, amen to that, brother. Well, we appreciate you coming on here and us having you on, and we'll be hopefully looking forward to having you again someday. And we appreciate it, brother. God bless.
I
So
appreciate it.
All you guys out there, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, Bodybuilding Underdog out.